and talking about California. So it is almost certain it's going to come, maybe not tomorrow, but so if it does, we're going to do another live stream. How many people here saw our live stream last 2 weeks ago? I thought it'd be a lot more people. Well, there was 500,000 people were watching us at the same time. So that's pretty cool. So Matt, tell us what you think. I mean, he didn't share anything, man. He just ducked the question.
Yeah, I guess I'll pick up the scraps. Thanks so much, Xander.
Yeah.
So maybe just to set the stage a little bit. So we do care about the short term. We're managing over 400,000 shares for the clients, a lot of whom are all-in Tesla investors, just like many of you. So we definitely believe in the long term, but we want to make sure we're managing the risk along the way. So that's why we are looking at short term, at sentiment, and modeling out the fundamentals on a short term basis too. In terms of what's going to happen with the stock in the next 6 to 12 months, I think, like Xander said, nobody really knows. But what I think it's going to come down to is execution on the robotaxi front. This might seem pretty obvious, but like the stuff Elon said on the earnings call, I think the market doesn't believe that you're going to have unsupervised FSD to half the U.S. population by the end of the year, right? But if they actually make meaningful progress along that route and deliver even 10% of that, I think the stock would react very favorably. So I think it really comes down to execution. When are they going to get the safety monitors out of the vehicles, and how quickly do they scale up, and when does it become clear that this is going to get to the scale where it would have a very meaningful impact on the finances?
Oh, yeah, that's great. I agree with you. I think if robotaxi happens, let's talk all in. How many people here are all in Tesla investors? And I guess we have to define what that means. My definition of it would mean, you might have a house, you will have cash on the side, but when it comes to the money that you invest on the stock market, you've decided that Tesla is, that's
the vehicle.
The one
money.
vehicle. How many people are all in? Wow, that is a lot of people. So here's the leader of the all-in. I'm proud to be all-in Tesla. Why?
I'm proud to be all-in Tesla. But before we talk about me, I would like to thank all of you, because whenever I need these retail shareholders, they're always there. They're always there to help, to write letters, to do what it takes, even though some of that stuff is really complicated. And I want to thank you. I couldn't lead the pack if the pack wasn't there to help. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Alexander.
And then to all in. Well, when I test drove the first Model 3 in March 2020, the good Lord was really good with me, because it was the day of the COVID dip. We had for 6 years EVs. We had a BMW i3 and then a Chevrolet Bolt, which I already wanted a Tesla then, but they were in production hell. And so when finally in March 2020, both my husband and me, we drove one, we got out of that car and I said, we're selling everything. And we did on that Wednesday morning. And that was the low of March 2020. And since then, we've been adding, but we've never sold. So it was a conscious decision, but it was certainly not thought through. But once you sit in these cars, and by then it was still a car company, and you understand it, and you understand where we come from and where we're going to, a decision had to be taken. And then since then, so now 5.5 years nearly, I try to reassure myself that that was the right decision, right? And that's why I do so much research. I know stuff of it because I was a fund manager before, but I threw all my fund manager past out and all the rules that I had obeyed to for decades, and went all in. And I know many of you did, and I want to thank you, because it's really important. We help this company. We help this stock. It's rough. There's never a dull day in Muscoland, right? It's crazy. There are moments we may all doubt, and then we zoom out, and that's where it becomes important. So the first question I want to ask all of you, who thinks we're a car company? That's good. You've all learned the lesson. And that's what I want to talk about. We're surrounded with the best cars that are out there. But what they are, we all know, are computers on wheels. This is an AI and robotics company. And other than us sitting here, nearly nobody understands it. They talk crap at Wall Street, in whatever media you want to listen to. Nobody understands this is not about cars anymore. This is about the AI robotic future. And we're the only ones that are building it. This is our company, and our company is building it. They are doing it. They have the whole supply chain organized. They are the only ones manufacturing it. They have vertically integrated whatever makes sense to vertically integrate or whatever they couldn't source good enough from somewhere else. When you hear Volkswagen having 40,000 suppliers, and you understand how stuck these people are, and you understand what is happening with Tesla, you should not doubt. The only question is when and how quickly. And so on the when and how quickly, we have our tough days. We've had tough days the last 5 years. When the stock was at 100, I was looking at myself thinking, my gosh, lady, you're losing money. This is your retirement. You're not getting younger. I know I look younger, but I am not getting younger. And I didn't doubt at that moment, and I really had my coming to Jesus moment. It will take the time it takes. It will take every craziness of Elon that we have to go through. We may not always agree with it, but the goal is there, and we'll get there. So let me talk about 2026. I think this is going to be the first moment where many things are coming together. Energy will have stepped up sufficiently for Wall Street to finally hear it. Robotaxi income will be significant towards the end of the year, but it will be significant. But even more important, we will have by then not hundreds, but thousands of optimists being in positions where people understand how efficient robots of this size, of this nature will be. And those are not going to be the only robots that Tesla is going to do. We will have drones, we'll have new Roadster, we will have so much more. And yes, it will be 2026 when it comes together, when the stock should really recuperate and multiply multiple times. So just hang in there, think of my words, and then go on with your life. Thank you.
I like that. When in doubt, zoom out. That was like a nice little line you came up with there.
How many of you guys bought Tesla stock after you just bought the Tesla car? And then how many, I assume the rest bought Tesla stock even before, or yeah. It's interesting. I always wonder about that question, right? Because you bought it after you bought the car. So you clearly thought of Tesla as a car company. Whereas the rest of us, we knew Tesla was not a car company.
He's just saying he's more intelligent.
I did.
And I think we should actually let the tokes. No. Just help us. Who thinks that Herbert is more famous than me?
Woo! Come on.
Okay.
Crickets.
Who thinks I am the nicest?
Boo. All day long, we were just walking around here, and I appreciate everybody coming up. But yeah, we have a side joke. Are they coming up for me, or are they coming up for her?
No joke.
Yeah, she's the queen. I got you. She has more impact. But yeah, I mean, I invested in Tesla because it's a business and a product. I was all in on Apple, and then I sold that and went all in on Tesla because Tesla is the business and the product. And so the cars were just one iteration of the products. They can make that good of a product. They can make a lot of different products, and that's what we're seeing. And so the joke is I never bought the car until 2020. And since 2012 to 2020, I just kept investing. I don't want to. Why would I invest in a car?
Because he's stingy.
I'm not stingy.
Yes, you are.
I just bought you a crown. I'm just kidding.
Made in China.
So are the megapixels, though. So let's not paint a broad blanket here.
Oh,
we're actually unionizing against Herbert. You just wait.
They're unionizing on me. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's anti-Tesla, but okay. All right. Gali is OG. Many of us how many here invested because of Gali or was influenced? Yeah. I mean, this guy was OG. Third row podcast. Can you arrange it? Another third row. This is the row here. This is the row.
Honored to be the Cyberbulls guest. A big Cyberbulls fan.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to double click on what you were saying about the Queen. I mean, this is such a big deal to have retail shareholders organize and interface with one of the largest companies in the world and like have an impact. Like we don't realize how rare that is. And I think it's setting a new standard for like shareholders and companies. And Alexandra, like it's kind of history in the making. And so I feel like there's all these jokes about the crown and stuff. But when you take a step back, I was thinking about this last night. I was like, this is so cool. Like just to like this XAI thing, it's on the ballot because of what you did. And now this might actually happen, and that will change the course of XAI and Tesla forever. So really cool that all the shareholders put that together.
You know, we're 10 million of us. There's no other company in the world that has 10 million retail shareholders. We're all over the world. There's a very active retail shareholder base in Japan, in Korea, in Australia. It is crazy. It is crazy. It's obviously very difficult to organize, but thank heavens we have X. So with X, communication has been so easy. People follow each other. People understand when it's important to do something. We help them to understand. It is enormous. Nobody has this. No Apple has this. No Google has this. Nobody. And it's important to Elon. When you saw how last year we got that compensation vote through and the Texas vote through, remember how happy he was when he came on stage? That is what we need. We need his commitment. And that's why I also want you to all be for the XAI investment, because if there is an XAI investment, he is motivated for both companies and we need him. So that is my main reason. I do believe XAI is going to be a multi-multiplier, no doubt about it. But the most important for me is this intertwining of the two companies so that we have Elon in both of them.
Okay, we have 2 minutes left. So last question to the panel here. What's going to happen in the future? What do you say to the people who have been holding the stock for so long and then they keep hearing people say, oh, next year. It's next year. It's next year. Why are you guys still holding them?
Well, I think we're on the cusp of the NVIDIA moment. You know, to sum it up quickly, like that 10x in earnings that NVIDIA had riding this AI wave, like when does that hit for Tesla? We all see the writing on the wall with Cybercab and Optimus. And Elon on the last conference call said it was maybe late 2026 where Cybercab really starts to impact the financials. So I feel like we're in this waiting game for that kind of earnings explosion and NVIDIA moment where it's just a runaway train of nonstop epic earnings announcements. And so I just think we're in this fascinating moment until then. But it's crazy to me that Tesla's willing to bet itself and reinvent the company on autonomy at the stage of $1 trillion to get to 20 trillion. Like, how many companies take that startup DNA? So very, very cool moment.
Yeah, and I think my answer would be just remember today is different than it was just a few months ago. Robotaxi is solved. Robotaxi is alive. It's being served. People are making money. Robotaxi is expanding. So for people who say, my gosh, here we go again, you say next year, next year. No, no, no. Robotaxi was what we were saying last year. We were all going, one day, it's here. There's no doubt about that at this point. So it's a different company today.
Yeah, for me, it's really because Robotaxi is solved, and that same application goes to robots, and what TAM and what that unlocks that's the opportunity. And I think you're going to have a new class of investors that are going to see what's happening with Robotaxi, and that'll create that FOMO wave of investors that will push the stock up and then analyst upgrades.
All right, stand up, everybody. All right, let's round of applause, please. Who is the most famous person here? Me? Alexandra. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, let's
Thank you.